U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn has been a public servant for well over 20 years. In 2018, she became the first woman from her state to be elected to the United States Senate. She's a champion for the unborn, secured borders, and government transparency, just to name a few. We're talking with the senator today about hot button issues that are affecting our families and our country. Stay with us. Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, we introduce you to special guests who share their personal stories and advice on how to build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their home, community, and country. Hi, moms. I'm Debbie Corlitis, your host, and this is the Moms for America podcast, a show inspiring, encouraging, and educating moms in their journey through motherhood. Well, we want to invite you right at the top of the show here to like and subscribe to our podcast. Also, we ask that you share this podcast with your mama friends in your mama circle there. Also, if you have an idea or a topic or feedback, would you please email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net. Again, that is podcast@momsforamerica.net. I do want to also invite all the moms that are listening to join our movement here at Moms for America. Please come join us. It's moms like us all across the country that are uniting together for faith, family, freedom, and the Constitution. You can check out everything about Moms for America at momsforamerica.us. So please go ahead and visit our website. All righty, on to today's program. Senator Marsha Blackburn has a very, very long resume. So I'm just going to give you a few of the highlights here. Currently, she's serving her first term as a United States Senator from the great state of Tennessee. She has also served in the U.S. House of Representatives. She is a member of many committees, including the Armed Services Committee. And in 2020, she authored a great book called The Mind of a Conservative Woman. She is a warrior and a patriot, and I am delighted to welcome her to the Moms for America podcast. Welcome, Senator Blackburn. I am just so glad to have you on the Moms for America podcast. We're big fans of yours.
Well, thank you so much. I am delighted to join you and just so grateful for the good work that you all are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, speaking of the good work, we were able to visit you in your home state of Tennessee and honor you recently, just last month or month and a half ago, and present you with the Mothers of Influence Award. And this award is presented to mothers just like you that have made a significant influence on our culture and on the lives of American families. So thank you again for your outstanding service.
Sure.
And for continually defending our Constitution on a regular basis.
It is an honor and a privilege. And one of the things that caused me to want to be involved in the political process in elective office was my desire to make certain that I do everything I can do each and every day to defend faith, family, freedom, hope for better days, opportunity for all. And I think that's what all moms are looking for when they talk about the future for their children.
100%. Speaking about your goals there, and I want to highlight your voting record because you also scored very, very well on our congressional report card that the Moms for America just released, our action side. And how challenging is it to be taking sometimes not the easy road, but voting for faith, for family, for freedom, for the Constitution? This has got to be pretty challenging in the culture we are right now here and where America is going. Sometimes you have to vote against the tide and really take a tough stand to preserve freedom. I'd love to just kind of start out with a little bit of that and just some of the challenges and really the commitment that you have made to stand for freedom.
Yes, and it is so interesting because you do find yourself voting against the tide, and many times there will be just a handful of no votes on the board for different issues that come up. Many times these are around funding. And the reason I am able to do that is because I'm thinking about the long term. and asking myself the question, how is this going to affect my children and grandchildren? Is this a vote that is going to expand freedom and expand their ability to live in a free world? Or is this a vote that is going to burden them with excessive debt? Is this a program that will have outlived its usefulness by the time these children are earning a paycheck? Is this a program that is going to lead to more independence and freedom? Or is this a program that is going to take some of that freedom away? One of the things we do have to remember is that the Democratic Party is great at small, little bitty incremental wins. And that is how so many times they get Republicans to cross over and agree with them. Because they'll say, well, it's just really not that bad. It only affects this or that. But in the long run, what is it doing? It is chipping away at the freedoms that we enjoy each and every day. And you can look at programs over the recent past decades and see how some of these programs have ended up growing and mushrooming, and then they become mandatory spending, and then all of a sudden you can't seem to get your arms around them. So it's time for us to say, we have to get on a different path. And I am so thrilled with the work that you all are doing to educate moms and to make certain that women understand every time government exercises a new leap in power and takes power and control away from the for-profit or not-for-profit sector or from families, then all of a sudden you are losing some of your freedom.
Yeah. And it's happening a lot more aggressively. I do want to get into some of these hot buttons and issues that we're facing in our country. But before that, can we just talk a little bit about you, Senator, what it was like to be a mom and to be an elected official? Why did you decide to run? You kind of were building your family, and all of a sudden now, you're looking at running for office in your state, and then obviously you went on to run federally. But what was it like for you as a mom, and why did you decide to get involved politically?
I decided to get involved politically because I'm passionate about the American dream and passionate about opportunity for all. And when you see that being diminished, it becomes a family decision to be active. And whether it's races for the school board or the U.S. Senate, I'm thrilled that so many moms are stepping up and saying, I can do this. My family supports me to do this. And they're raising their hand and saying, I'm going to get involved. So for us, it has always been something that we do as a family, campaigning first with children, my husband many times taking them to cover events that I couldn't get to. And now we have grandchildren that are with us in these endeavors, and how wonderful it is for them to understand the importance of public service and the importance of civil society, the importance of civics and participation, being that educated and informed voter that is going to participate in robust, respectful, bipartisan debate, which is what has kept this nation free for 235 years.
Right. So isn't that great when you have your grandkids on the campaign trail and they're helping out grandma? That is wonderful. And it is really a family event, isn't it? Anytime you run for office like that. So special thanks to your family for being such a great support for you, because surely you couldn't do it without them, I know. Is it that you have 2 kids? I was just looking here in my notes.
Yes.
2 kids. And how many children?
3 grandchildren.
Oh, I love that. That is so wonderful. Your values are very important to you. You talk about that in your book, and you have the title of your book is The Mind of a Conservative Woman. Conservative women have been kind of beat up here in the past, right? There is a bit of a bias against us.
Yes.
And it's so unfair, because I believe that we are a majority of Americans. We are not some outcast. But conservative women are getting a bad rap in general, and they're not being respected. And it really is unfortunate. That's why it's so wonderful to see great leaders like yourself paving the way for us.
Well, and the reason for the titling on the book, Mind of a Conservative Woman, is because this is how women think, conservative women think, and how they approach issues. And you're exactly right. We are a majority
That's
of
right.
American women. And you're seeing it as women are running for these local offices, as they are challenging school boards and county commissions. And I had so much fun writing the book because I talk about how the press and society talks about us, but what happens when conservative women get engaged. And it's why I even put a chapter in the book that focuses on how you talk about and discuss issues, how you ask the question in order to engage people, not to intimidate or not to offend them, but to engage them, which is what we have to do first and foremost. I even put a chapter in the book entitled Caucus of One. And this is something that reflects on an experience I had when I was in the state Senate in Tennessee, and I was leading the fight against a state income tax that a Republican governor had proposed. And it is something that I opposed. So I told him I'm going to lead this fight. During this fight, one of my Senate colleagues, who was a Republican, gave an interview to a TV broadcaster in Tennessee. And he said, Marsha is just a caucus of one. No one is working with her on defeating this tax. And it hurt my feelings for about 5 minutes. And then I realized in that Senate chamber, I may be a caucus of one. However, as soon as I walked out, I had thousands of people cheering me on and standing with me. And so many times we as women realize that. You've seen it in school board meetings. You've seen it in city council meetings. It is that woman who will stand up and challenge authority, challenge them on behalf of her children and other children, on behalf of her community and members of that community. And it takes that strength and courage to stand up and to launch that challenge many times in order to get things done, to get that community or that school back on the right track.
And it's so true. A lot of times we feel like we are the only person maybe championing something, or we are isolated or alone, but we're not. All across America, we're seeing this. Senator, I know you are too, that moms in every community, in every home are rising up and saying yes and agreeing and fighting. Not only, what kind of reminds me when you say caucus of one is really that we are an audience of one. Really, it's right. We're before God, we are, called to champion and do what is right. So whether it's a caucus of one or an audience of one, we are held accountable. We're holding ourselves accountable to make a great difference in this country. What is it like being a conservative woman in the United States Senate? Let's talk about that.
It is absolutely wonderful. And
good answer.
You're going to have people that agree with you or disagree with you, but that's okay. The voice of conservative women needs to be represented in what is considered to be one of the greatest deliberative bodies on the face of the earth. So it is a challenge that I readily accept and welcome.
Now, since you've been in Washington, you've seen a lot of agendas and issues. We've got the liberalism, the conservative. You talk about that in your book. Are there some things that continue to shock you, or that you're kind of surprised on a regular basis? And as you look, at serving there in Washington, it's its own culture and it's its own arena, Washington, D.C.
One of the things that has been a surprise of late is the way the left, who always wanted to say they were the champion of women's issues, has decided that they are willing to erase the word woman.
Crazy.
And how they are putting boys into girls' sports. I had a lady today who lives in the DC area who has a daughter that attends a girls' school that says they're no longer going to use the term girls. And it is the type thing that you see. Being a woman is something that is wonderful. Being a mother is an absolutely incredible, amazing experience.
Yes.
And it is something that I love. I love whether my children have been babies or toddlers or teenagers or adults, and now as moms and dads of their own. It's just one of those rich, rewarding, wonderful experiences. And to work with them is such a rewarding experience, and to take their views and their thoughts and their concerns into our Republican conference. I relish doing that. And I talk to my daughter and her friends and my son and his friends all the time to see what is troubling their hearts and souls, what is bothering them, what are their concerns, and what their perception is of what we're doing in the U.S. Senate and what they would like to see us do.
It's true. Well, that's it. They're a great target market for us, right? Our families, our kids, our neighbors, our grandchildren. Watching them motivates us, and it is great feedback. You're talking a little bit about the shockingness of the gender identity and erasing women. The wave of wokeism has swept our country, and it's really insane. The Democratic Party is moved into, I guess, basically something that is not even familiar to a lot of people within their party, like Tulsi Gabbard. She walked away. Do you see the Democratic Party? I mean, what is going to happen to the Democratic Party? It is changed into something that everyone is shocked about. And it's including ideas and ideology that most Americans are not comfortable with. Do you think that there's going to be more of an exit from the Democratic Party like we saw with Tulsi?
I talked with a female friend who has always voted Democrat. She jokingly says I'm the only Republican she ever votes for. And she was very much a part of the women's movement in the 70s and 80s, and has been very active with helping rear her grandchildren. She is very concerned about what she's saying. She made a couple of good points that I think a lot of Democratic women are looking at the party and what they're doing and arriving at similar conclusions. She said, even though she voted for Biden, that everything that they have done, she said, just about every single thing they have done has made my life worse. Because of inflation, crime, the impact of drugs on the community, the open border, what children are being subjected to in school. And the other thing is boys and girls sports. And she has a granddaughter that is a great tennis player. She has been paying for those tennis lessons as a gift to the grandchild. And now to think that she may not get that college scholarship because a boy may get that scholarship for the girls' tennis team. This is something that is just baffling to so many people.
Now, I think about crushing dreams, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the reasons that women are beginning to walk away.
That's right.
I think another thing that is causing them to move away, and especially independent women to move away from the Democrat Party, is the way they have tried to make our police officers and law enforcement into villains, and then have tried to make criminals into heroes. And looking, it is...
What mom isn't concerned about safety? I mean, this is...
That's right.
When we send our children out to school.
Moms.
Yeah.
So security moms are a big deal right now.
Sure.
Security of education, of your
Mhm.
community, of your retirement for your parents.
Mhm.
These are things that women are talking about every single day.
Some of the hot buttons you mentioned, a lot of those kind of in that sweeping comment when you refer to them. Maybe just a couple of, I'd love to get your opinion on a couple of these or some answers that you see. And we're talking about safety, but the border is a huge problem right now. I know moms all across the country are
Yeah.
worried about who, what, and where, and what is coming across the border. Very concerned about the fentanyl drug crisis. I mean, I know the answer is to deal with the border. Is there any hope that we can stop the insanity at this border and what's coming across with the drugs?
My hope is after the elections in November
Yeah.
and after you have Republicans in control of the House and the Senate, that you're going to see a push to get that border control. When you talk to the Border Patrol agents, they will tell you
Yeah.
that we need remain in Mexico. We need the ability to deport criminals. They
Right.
need what they've been asking for decades, a physical barrier, technology where they cannot have that physical barrier,
Hmm.
and then more officers and agents that would allow them to do the job that they are
They're
responsible for
tasked to do.
delivering. Yeah.
Right.
And they continue to say, give us these things and we can secure this country and protect our sovereignty.
Yeah. Please, God, we really have got to address that. I think of all these issues on your plate. Parental rights are continually being attacked right now. Moms are fed up with that. They're insulted. They're furious with the indoctrination that's happening at our schools. They're keeping parents intentionally, and I mean intentionally, out of the loop. So parental rights are clearly under attack. This is another situation that moms are concerned about, let alone pornographic materials and um, the gender discussions and critical race. What are you hearing from moms across the country regarding parental rights?
Yes, regardless of where I go, it across the country,
Yeah.
you hear about inflation, crime, the fentanyl coming across the border, of course,
Right.
the border and parental rights. Those are the issues that women and indeed all voters are focused on. And on that border, you know, when you look at the fact that you've had people from 150 different countries coming
Being
in
able to come
across that
through.
border, when you have had nearly 80 known terrorists that have been apprehended, and then you don't know how many of those terrorists have come into the country through the gotaways,
Mm.
how many gang members, MS-13 gang members, have gotten into the country. These are things that cause women so much concern because they want their children to be safe. They want them to have good, normal, everyday lives. They're
Right.
concerned when they go to college, when they go to a ball game. They're fearful that they're going to come into contact with someone that has a fentanyl
Right.
pill, and one pill can kill you.
Right.
And they're very concerned about what is happening with the safety and security of this country. They're concerned about inflation
Yeah.
and what you see
Sure.
as a continuous rise of, and it's far greater than 8%. When you look at food cost rising, that is 14%.
Right.
When you look at energy cost rising, that is upwards of 50%. These are things that people are saying, well, the basket of goods I buy is far greater than an 8% or a 10% increase. And it is causing them to lose faith in their government because they feel as if it's not responsive. They are looking at these crime issues in the streets. They are looking at the effect of these teachers' unions on their children, on parental rights.
Yeah.
And they are saying, no, our children are not an experiment. They are not
right.
there for you to try out your experiments. They are not there to be indoctrinated. Our children are to be educated. Our children are to be treasured. They are a gift from God. They deserve to be
right.
respected. They deserve the best effort you have for their protection, for their education.
Yeah. You talked about the economy, you talked about energy, you talked about safety, you talked about the attacks that are happening around the country. I mean, I'm here in Chicago, and this is insanity what's happening here and continues to happen here in our city. Um, Moms are always asking, what can I do to push back on this? Obviously, voting, getting officials elected like yourself at a federal level and at a state level is very important. Running, being involved, because legislation, there's results, and because of the election, because of who we vote in, this is how we're going to change America. This is how we're going to hold on to America. I guess it's such a loaded question to ask you, what can the moms do? But what can we do? What do we need to do more of? How can we help you, the champions, the leaders in Washington or in our states that are fighting for us?
There are some things that are specifics that you can do. Number one, you need to establish a dialogue with your elected officials at the local, state, and federal level, and let them know that you look at this as being an ongoing and continuing conversation, that you're going to continue to reach out because what they do matters. It matters to your family and to their future. Number two is your sphere of influence. Staying in contact with your friends, whether they're in your neighborhood, coworkers, people you're in church with, people that you're in different organizations with. Send them good information from people that you follow, articles about different issues that will help to educate them.
Right.
Because people no longer sit down and watch the news at 6 and 10.
Right.
What they do is they pull it from different websites. They pull it from social media feeds. And what you want to do is put information in front of them that is accurate and precise and is going to help to educate them.
That's it.
Third thing that moms can do is to make certain that their friends and neighbors are registered to vote.
Right.
I think it was surprising to so many people after 2016 when they realized that only about half of the people that they go to church with are registered to vote.
Right.
And out of that,
and that's on a good day.
That's right. And then about half of those actually go vote.
Correct.
So these are individuals that should be out voting at every election.
That's right.
And then the next thing is to focus on how they educate their children.
That's right.
My husband is so good at talking with me through issues and things as they come up. And our grandson was getting ready for his 50-state test. Now, I know a lot of moms remember sitting with their child and that map, and you have to know the name of the state, the capital, the abbreviation, and you have to fill the map in. And as we were going through that with our grandson, Chuck said, when we talk about our grandkids and what we want them to learn, we want them to learn 50 states, not 50 made-up pronouns. We want them to learn how a bill becomes a law, not how to go prepare for a protest or make a Molotov cocktail. Right. We want them to learn that this is the greatest country on the face of the earth, that it is America that stands there leading the way for freedom. Right. And it is because we are a free nation that believes in the power of the individual, and that is why people choose to come here for the American dream.
That's right.
They don't try to go to China for the China dream or Russia for the Russia dream.
Correct.
They try to come here for the American dream.
A land of opportunity.
And because of that, because we are that land of opportunity, then it is imperative that we fight to preserve that freedom.
We talk with our moms a lot about voting, being engaged, running for office, being aware, being involved in the culture, because our voice, our vote is our voice. And we have
Yes.
a Mom Vote page on our website that has all the information about the parties and about of voter guides and about issues and registering. So moms, please check out Mom Vote on our momsforamerica.us page, because it is so important that you are engaged. And, every week I talk with moms all across the country, either, women who are serving like you, or women who are taking on their school boards, or
Yeah.
just figuring out how to teach patriotism at home. And it is overwhelming for the moms. It's a tough time right now, because so much is coming at between social media and
Sure.
the fake
Yeah.
media and everything's on the violence, and it is scary times for moms. So it is
But
good
this
to
is the
know.
time that moms need to get involved,
Right.
because it is a worthy fight. And
It
my
is a
time
worthy
is
fight.
kind of running out, and so I've got to scoot, but I have loved being with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Senator. God bless you, and keep fighting the fight. We appreciate all that you're doing.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Again, it was just wonderful to have Senator Blackburn joining us on the Moms for America podcast. Talk about a warrior. Every day, every week, she is there fighting for our Constitution and the principles of liberty. And we so appreciate her and all of our other leaders that are fighting the good fight in Washington and on our state level. As we talk about the principles of liberty and fighting for freedom, that's what we do here at Moms for America on a regular basis as well. We are committed to these principles and to restoring patriotism. That's what we're doing here. We're empowering moms, promoting liberty, and raising patriots. Moms, you are the hope for our country. And that's why we are here to help you on a daily basis. Raise your little tribe and fight for this country. So I do want to mention this because we have a Restoring Patriotism initiative that we just released. And I would love for you to see the video if you're watching, or listen to it. It is called Restoring Patriotism. It is a clarion call to the moms just like you to help restore patriotism in every home across America. So take a listen.
Our greatest gift is our children. Our biggest blessing is our freedom. Our toughest battle right now is preserving America. Patriotism is under attack. The liberal culture has decided that America is no longer great, that celebrating our country is offensive, and being a patriot is no longer admirable or worthy. Well, we are changing that. We as mothers are flipping the script and restoring patriotism in our homes, our schools, and in our country. Moms for America is releasing a national campaign to restore patriotism, a movement to celebrate and honor our amazing country. We know that the future generations must carry the torch of freedom and defend the principles of liberty. That is why we are providing amazing resources to restore and renew a patriot heart. We are making it easy to turn your home red, white, and blue with Patriot Packs for your kids, American Heritage books, Liberty trips for your family, and various mentorship programs for moms, kids, and families. Our children must know why we stand for the anthem, why we kneel and pray, why we pledge allegiance to our country, and what makes America exceptional. Moms, please join us as we change the culture and restore patriotism, one home at a time.
Again, Restoring Patriotism, that whole video is on our website, on our Restoring Patriotism page. So check that out. We've got a lot of resources for you there to help you raise patriots. There's all kinds of mentorship groups and educational pieces and patriotic wear and the Patriot Packs. So speaking of the Patriot Packs, when you go there, we're going to give you a 25% off on our Patriot Pack. So you can order them for your kids or your grandkids, get the packs delivered to their house, and help to raise patriots. We love this packet. So when you go and you purchase it, just put in podcast and all in caps, podcast, and then you will get 25% off on our Patriot Packs. So great Christmas idea. So go ahead and shop. Also, before we leave, I want to just remind you to stop by our website, like I mentioned, which is momsforamerica.us. Check out all of our resources, our events, our programs. They are all there. We also mention every week to look at our signature program called the Cottage Meeting. All that information is on our page. That's our showcase piece. It's 12 lessons that will help inspire and educate you about America's amazing heritage so you can teach the principles of liberty in your home and in your community. Again, please, when you stop by our website, join, not only, stop by and shop, but please join our newsletter. That's how we communicate with you every week. From parental rights to public policy, at Moms for America, we have it all. So we are here to help and to serve you. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We love you, mamas. And next week, we'll be back here chatting again with another mom, another subject, another issue that will help you in your journey through motherhood. Every week, we're here for you. Liberty begins at home, and we will see you soon. And let's keep changing our world, one home at a time. And I'll talk to you next week.